Broadcasting from Watts Creative Studios and live on Grove Street FM. You're listening to Cool Talk Live, brought to you by Brown's Heating and Air, with your host, Brandon Brown.
Good morning. Hello. You forgot to turn my mic on. There it is. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us again for Cool Talk here out of Watts Creative Studios in Bedford, Virginia. We appreciate everybody who has followed us and continues to follow us. And you can find us on Spotify, Podcast, Apple, Android. So please go find us on Facebook or your podcast and share it. And we will have, we got an awesome interview coming up here in a few minutes today with Katie from UMFS, who we are happy to have talk about fostering and foster parents and things and how to help out. But first, I got to tell Woody, I'm proud of you on two things, buddy.
Okay.
Really good. Two things. Number one.
I like hearing that.
Number one, the Why So Cold True Crime podcast is amazing.
Oh, thank you.
I'm hooked.
Oh.
He brought it back out I guess about a month ago.
Yep.
Following cold cases in Lynchburg, Bedford, and Richmond and stuff that still aren't solved, right? None of these that you have are solved,
No,
right?
not yet.
And they are amazing. The interviews he's gotten, the details and stuff. Some of the murders I've never heard of, but you've got me hooked, man.
Man.
I was listening,
so
and I'm putting together my own theories now, and then I'm hoping that we get some closure and see if I'm right on some of them. But that podcast is good, so check it out if you like podcasts. Why So Cold, and if you like true crime, these are true stories here, and a lot of them in Central Virginia that are unsolved.
They are. They're yeah. And the thing is like a lot of these cases is you read them and you kind of know who the head suspect is or
right.
who it might be, but they're just the law enforcement. And after talking with some of these law enforcement officers, they're just waiting for that one tip.
Yeah,
they're waiting for that one bit of evidence where they can put the person away, but you can't just go arrest somebody because you think they did it. You
right.
know? So that's the whole goal, is to kind of just keep the stories alive.
And it's amazing that most of these are over 30 years old. That the killer's still walking,
still out there,
and some of them killed multiple. Like the Route 29 stalker between here and Culpeper, who has killed multiple women, pulling them over saying something's wrong with their car. And of course they pull over scared, then he kidnaps them and then they're gone. So, and that's happened multiple times since between the last 40. I guess there hasn't been any in the last several years, has it?
No, but there are still people with some of these cold cases. I'll actually talk to the victims' families and then some of them are still afraid to talk.
Wow.
Because
he's still out there.
Yeah, they feel like they know who the killer is. And that's not only in Stalker, in some of the other ones. They want it solved, but also they fear for their family's safety. So, I wanted to help in my own way and just keep the stories alive. Because if you don't, within 6 months to a year, the stories die.
Because there's so many other stories and stuff that come up. And now that there's newer ways to test DNA and blood and stuff, some of these cases could come back to light and find a killer.
Exactly.
So that is definitely a great one. If you like true crime, please follow that. It's some good episodes. It comes out new episodes every Monday.
Every Monday.
There's another one coming out in the next couple of weeks here in Bedford.
Yep.
Those
are going to be crazy.
We won't give anything away on that, but it is one that's still open in Bedford here about a 2-year-old little girl. So definitely listen to that one. And the other thing is we have a podcast here from 5 to 6, Life, Liberty, Happiness, that has broken into the ranks in the podcast world, right?
It's funny because whenever you set up to a podcast, the thing you should not do, and this is speaking from experience, is refresh your hits and looking at your downloads. Don't do that every week, right? And don't get hung up in the charts. However, when it does happen, it's really awesome. And Life, Liberty, Happiness got into the news commentary, top of the charts, at number 175. And just to give you some perspective, there are probably over 500,000 podcasts in Apple alone. So to do that in any category, is something. And to know that in Bedford, this little studio, there's a couple of podcasts that we do that are that bounce in and out of the charts, and that some are still in the charts. So it's just a flattering thing that people listen, and that it's so awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah. Congrats on that, and Brian and DW and everybody that's on that show. So definitely follow that if it's already ranked in it. And Cool Talk's right behind them.
Right behind
coming
them,
up
on the heels.
Yes,
nipping at the heels.
We get a ton of downloads, so it shouldn't be long. We're going to break the top 1,000 or something.
That's right.
We'll get up there. We're going to catch them. But that's a great podcast to listen to. It's live here in Bedford as well. Life, Liberty, Happiness, and you can find all these on grovestreet.fm. Woody has several podcasts that he hosts here, so you can follow all of them right there through Grove Street or listen live.
That's
the
right.
schedule's on there as well. So, two great things. Yep.
Thank you.
Follow Why So Cold and Life, Liberty, Happiness, and get updated. But we are very happy to have you in here today, Katie.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Sorry, he called you, I think, Emily earlier. But we got so many interviews going on here.
So sorry.
I
apologize.
It's okay. He's forgiven. But Katie works for UMFS, which is located
Yeah, so we're all over the state of Virginia,
Okay.
but we have a local office in Lynchburg.
and they concentrate on fostering. And first, before we get into that, tell us a little bit about you, Katie. Your background and how you got to UMFS.
Yeah, so I majored in psychology, and my passion in life, I think, is counseling. I'm going to pursue my master's in counseling. And so when I was looking towards graduating, I really just wanted to get into the social helping world. I wanted to be able to work with people and to really feel like I was making a difference. And UMFS was hiring a recruiter at the time. And so I reached out. And when I was just looking at the organization as a whole and deciding whether I wanted to pursue this job, I was really struck by just their values and what they do and the impact they've had on the community and Virginia. And it was something that I was like, I would love to be a part of this. And that's kind of how I started down this road.
That's amazing. And one good thing, or neat thing that most people don't know, you were born here, but grew up in West Africa because your parents are missionaries, correct?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, so born and raised in West Africa. I moved back to the U.S. In 2017 for university. I went to Liberty, and now I just fell in love with Lynchburg and the surrounding area. And
so the West Africa experience had to start your love for helping kids and families, because that's what your parents are there doing now, right? They're preaching and trying to help kids and families grow. So that had to start your love for it and just, this is what I want to do for my life.
Definitely. I think my parents have definitely instilled just a love for people and just reaching out to those who need help and, coming together as a community. And I think UMFS does that as an organization. And so it's really cool to see how what I experienced growing up is translated into like my career and my life now.
That's awesome. And I was looking at your thing you sent me on the email that you do for the presentation, and that's awesome where do you give these? Is just anybody that wants to be a foster parent, or just?
Yeah, so we host information sessions for people who are interested in learning more. They're non-committal. You don't have to be signed up or anything, but if you're interested in learning like more about UMFS as an organization and what it takes to be a foster parent, I host them individually. I'm really flexible because I know people have different schedules, work schedules, so we do in the evenings, mornings, whenever. And I just talk you through what our organization stands for and what it really takes to be a foster parent.
That's all. And it's a sad subject, but it's one that I know a lot of people that do fostering. And I'm the person, I love people so much as well. I love to help. And I know there's probably a lot of people out there like me that would love to foster, but could not go through the emotional stress of it, which is understandable. That you could get a kid and help them out, then maybe lose them.
Yeah.
What is the process for it? Like, even if you maybe are interested, what's the process for somebody that want to help kids?
Yeah, so the first step would be to reach out to our organization. You can go to our website at umfs.org. There's a button there that says foster. You can click on it and fill out an inquiry form. That'll go to me as the recruiter, and then I reach out to you and talk you through just the basic requirements, and then we'll set up an info session to kind of go more in depth. And kind of just speak to what you said about, getting too attached. A lot of people do say that, I love to foster, but I'm too afraid of getting attached. And I always say, like, that is a good thing. We want our families to get attached because these kids need attachment. That's what they haven't experienced in their lives, and that's what's really going to be healing for them. And it's really cool to see how our current families have created relationships that last even beyond the child being in their home. Like, they have relationships that go on for years and years and for the rest of that child or teen's life. And it's really great to see how that impact lasts.
And I guess each family that is interested has to go through a kind of a long background or a long application process, which is good.
Yes.
To make sure you're not taking them out of a bad home, put them in another bad
Yeah,
home.
exactly.
Does it cost a lot of money for foster parents? I know adoption can be expensive on that side. It's a different subject, but does it cost people?
No. So our process takes 3 to 6 months on average, what we say from start to finish. The only thing our parents have to pay for is the background check and CPS check. And I think it costs around like $70 for that. And you do that after you've completed training. So you come to our training. Training is 3 different days. We have a full day of training. We try to get a cohort of families together so you can kind of go through that with other families, talk about your experiences. We want to give you our kids who are coming into our program who have experienced a lot of trauma and have gone through really hard things. So we equip our families with understanding what trauma is, how do we parent, how do we create a therapeutic environment within your home to create healing and stability for these youth.
Okay. And then there's there's 3 different type of foster families.
Yes.
What are the differences between resource, foster, is it respite?
Respite. Yes.
I'm sorry.
No,
like I said, I'm bad at reading. Respite.
Yes.
So there's 3 different options you can get into.
Yeah. So the first is our foster to adopt. So those are families who are coming in with the intention of adoption. So we have an adoption program as well. So you can, it's called foster to adopt. So you have a child in your home and their goal is adoption, you foster. And then, if it's a good match, it's a good match for that child and for your family. Then we can move through that process of adoption. We also have families who come in who are just more wanting like the traditional foster care experience. And those are just our resource families. And then the last family is our respite families. And those families are giving support to our current families. They're giving families a break when they need, if they have an emergency situation going on where, a family member, someone's sick, they need emergency placement for that child. Our respite families kind of step in and give a lot of support. And that's great for people who maybe don't feel like they have enough experience to really full-time foster, or their schedules are really busy, or they just kind of want to start getting the experience, but they're not ready to fully commit to like long-term fostering. They can do respite. The great thing about UMFS is like you're dually licensed for foster and adoption, and you can kind of move through those different roles as the seasons come in your life.
Oh, that's awesome. It's good to have several options. And then do y'all notice that there's usually a lot of people in line coming, or what is the needs? What do you see now as an immediate need that y'all need, other than I guess families or people that are open? I know there's other ways to donate. Yeah. Y'all have fundraisers to help. So if you're really not in a position to bring in a kid at the time, there is ways to help. Yeah, definitely. There's always ways to volunteer. Like you said, there's ways to donate. We have a program called our Family Champions, and that's a way we support families who are currently fostering. If they get a placement, for example, of like a bunch of sibling groups or siblings, and they don't have none of these kids, if they don't have any clothes or they don't have beds for these kids, we can reach out to our Family Champions. They can provide for physical needs that these families might have. There's also ways to help, if you have a business and you want to put up flyers or just help advocate for families. We're always looking for people who are willing to partner with us. And if you are like, I would love to get involved, I don't know exactly how, and you just want to sit down and have a conversation with me on how we can, brainstorm ways to leverage your business or your passion to help advocate for these kids, I always love doing that. That's great. Yeah, that's because I can see there's a lot of people that want to help. They just don't know what the program's about or how to help, other than having to, they can't adopt or foster. The kids that are looking for homes now, are they still usually, are they still in the home that you're trying to get them out, or is there a place that kids go in, like a home or something? Because I know if you find a kid that needs to be removed, unfortunately, are they already out of that situation? Yeah, so how our program works, we contract with the Virginia Department of Social Services. So DSS, that is the child's legal guardian. They send us referrals, and then we look at the homes that we have available and make matches based on the child's needs and what we can provide, and the family and what their strengths are. We always look at the strengths and make sure that we're making good matches, so that we're going to limit disruptions, and that child's going to have a safe and stable home, and that's going to really meet their needs and help them thrive. So how many, if you had to guess right now for y'all, how many kids are looking for foster parents at this time, or do they break them out Central Virginia or? So the last report I looked at, which was for this past December, that was put out by the Virginia Department of Social Services, said the Lynchburg and Bedford area, I think it had around over 200
kids in
Wow.
foster care. And over the state of Virginia, there's over 5,000 children and teens who are in need of foster care.
Wow, man, that's sad.
Mm-hmm.
It is sad. It breaks your heart to think about that. So if you're listening to this and have been, on the fence or just want info, what's the website? Do y'all have like information sessions that you can just come learn?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So our website is umfs.org, and there's a button, Foster. Click on that. It'll take you to our website that'll show you where you can click on an inquiry form, fill out that, and I'll reach out to you, or you can sign up for an info session directly there. There's also a lot of questions and answers that are listed there that tell you more about our program and the impact that UMFS has on our community.
Okay, that's awesome. So please check that out. And also, I was looking on the website. What is Project Life? Is that something different, or is that?
So that kind of works with us. So Project Life is super cool. It was actually founded by a youth who had come through our program, in our foster care program, and it's designed to help kids. So we primarily serve 0 to 17, but we focus on serving older youth, like teenagers or sibling group, kids who have some emotional behavioral issues that are going on. And so for our older kids, we're trying to help them learn skills so they can, live successful lives. We truly believe when they're given the right tools and environment, they're going to really succeed. So Project Life helps by equipping kids, giving them resources, helping them with those independent living skills that they need. If they need help writing resumes or getting connected with schools, scholarships, things like that. So it helps just equip them for the rest of their life.
Okay, so there's ways people can get involved in that program alone to help either donate or teach kids
Yeah.
life things, whether it's working skills or people skills, I guess, like preparing for the real world or the like jobs and schools and how to do better in life. So there's ways to actually get involved in that as well, which is awesome.
Exactly.
And I was looking on the website. If you do go on there, it's really easy. If you go to get involved, and you can bring up a calendar. February has several info sessions for Lynchburg already listed. If you're looking in this area or anywhere in Virginia, but like she said, they're nationwide. Is it all?
They're statewide.
Or statewide? Yes. So, but it's UMFS statewide.
Yes, it is.
So there's their calendar is on here. It looks like every Tuesday is you have some info sessions. Where do you hold those at?
So we do them either virtually or in person at our Lynchburg office, whatever people are comfortable with. We know with COVID, there's different situations that happen. Sometimes it's just more convenient to do virtual, but I love meeting people in person. I think it's a great way to just get a better feel for each other. We kind of talk about this as a dating process because for the family or the people who are interested, they want to know that we're going to be a good organization that's going to support them and equip them and help them walk through this journey. We also want to make sure that the families who are coming to us are going to be the right homes for the youth that we're serving because they're our priority. We want to make sure our program is really well,
you want to
serving
fit it
them.
the people with the right families.
So it's just a mutual assessment where we both, are having a conversation. So I love to meet families in person. But if that's not, an option, we can do virtual as well. And I always want to say, if you're interested in fostering or just getting involved and you think, well, I couldn't do it, or there's one thing, don't count yourself out.
Yeah.
A lot of people think, oh, I can't do it because of this, but there's a lot of misconceptions out there. You don't have to be married. You can be single. You don't, you can work a full-time job.
You don't have to have kids.
You don't have to have kids. There's a lot of different, we have kids from all different backgrounds and we need families from all different backgrounds and walks of life.
Do you keep, and you might be one of them, do you keep counselors on available at all times, maybe to meet with a family to really go through emotional preparation, entry of kids, accident of kids? Are they available for families that are looking? So maybe people want to do it, but they're like, I might need some actual help from a counselor just to answer my questions personally.
So our intake coordinator and our trainers, they're really well trained. They're well equipped. They're, have their masters and they've done a lot of studies and worked in this field for a long time. And they always are walking through this with our families. And our TFC workers who are our social workers, they're also walking through this with our families and making sure that they feel supported. And if our families need, extra support, like via like a counseling session or things like that, there's always that ways that we can connect them with people in the community. But we do a lot to make sure our families are supported. We have 24/7 on call. So day or night, if there's something going on, if you just need to vet, if there's like, hey, I don't really know how to handle this situation, or whether there's a crisis, and that's something that's, I feel like I'm in crisis, let me call on call.
Right.
We're there for you. We come out to your home if needed. We also have support groups that we do so that you can be connected with other families who are experiencing similar things. So there's a lot of different ways that we support our families to make sure that they're well equipped, and we never, drop off a kid and said, good luck.
Yeah,
We're
they're
walking
not
through
gonna
that every step of the way. You have weekly visits, you have,
Good.
a lot of our kids are, going to counseling themselves and things like that. So we make sure that, you're well supported as a family.
So there are groups that might meet weekly for an event, let's just say, to get together with other people and foster kids and do maybe activities and stuff.
Yeah.
There is stuff like that set up.
Yeah. So we plan trainings all the time, make sure that our families have ways to get involved and stay connected to one another.
Okay. What is the Leland House? How does that work? Is that different?
Yeah, that's
Or do you-
up in our like Nova, Richmond area.
Okay.
So we do have like a residential facility that serves youth who need residential care
Okay.
and who need a higher level
So
of
they
care.
bring the kids in there and kind of help them with their needs before they find a foster family or if they're eligible.
Yeah, so it's just like a higher level of care to give them support and make sure like the kids are going through a therapeutic program, helping them learn skills, helping them learn coping skills, regulation, different things like that. And so our staff are equipped to help on that journey.
That's awesome. And the I'm trying to think what else. You've covered so much
Yeah.
good information. Is there anything else that we're missing? Or anything that you see actually immediate needs now in this
Yeah.
area or this year that you up seeing that people need to help with?
The need is really for more families. We can only serve as many youth as we have homes available. And right now we really need respite families because our families have been going through a lot. I mean, COVID has changed for everyone. Everyone has been, upside down with COVID. And our families are first responders. They're on the front lines. They're working with kids who have gone through hard things and who just need a lot of love and support. And it's difficult when you're also experiencing a global pandemic. And so
Right.
we really need respite homes available. So if you're interested in fostering but don't want to do long term, reach out.
What's usually time frame for respite? Is it a year, up to a year, or?
So the average day for a child or teen in foster care is around 19 months. So respite can look like a weekend or maybe a week or two, a month, something like that. So just giving our
Okay.
families a little bit of a break, giving them some support.
So that's they're not moving, the respite, they don't move in with you, actually live with you. You kind of like,
No, they do. Yeah,
they do. Okay.
Yeah, so it's just like a short-term care, just
Okay.
so that we can help protect our parents from
Yeah.
burnout and things like that, and give them extra support as
Right.
well. Or if there's like, for example, if there's a family emergency that happens, you're like, I'm in a crisis right now. I
need
can't
some-
give the support to this child right now. Well, our primary purpose is to serve that child, so we want to make sure they're still in a safe and stable environment.
Wow, that's awesome. Great info today. There's a lot of need. It's sad, but it is reality. So I'm thankful for groups and organizations like y'all that help kids and help families. So if you're interested, please reach out to them and put your info in, whether it's just to donate or it's to just volunteer a couple weeks or just to help bring in kids until they maybe to look for an adoption. That's great. When they do get to the adoption part, I guess, does it go through a whole other service, or do y'all help them the whole way?
Yeah, so we do the adoption
Okay.
services as well. We also have post-adoption services to help families once they've completed that adoption to keep supporting them through that process.
That's great. So
Yeah.
then, and isn't, I guess UMFS then is a nonprofit?
It
They're
is, yeah.
considered
We're a nonprofit. We are an unwavering champion for families and youth, and we just want to serve everyone and make sure that these kids who are coming into foster care for no reason, they were born into a
Yeah.
family. There's a lot of different reasons why kids are coming into care, whether it's neglect, abuse, family dysfunction, and parents passing away, family members incarcerated, things like that. And it's nothing that they've done wrong.
Right.
They're just in a bad situation. And if we can do something to help them and give them support and create a loving environment and help, change the rest of their life, then that's what we want to do.
That's great. I love that. Thank you for doing that in your service and everybody there. So if you're listening, please go to umfs.org. It's a great website. There's a lot of info, a lot of tabs. You can donate there. You can subscribe to, I guess, a newsletter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then there's a way to foster, contact us. She'll get the email. And just if you want info, they'll send you info. This is a great presentation you sent me on the email just that you give, and it gives a lot of info. So even if you can't foster and want to donate time, materials, things to help these kids, there's a lot of kids in need in Virginia, all over the state. So there's ways to get involved, and I know it gets emotional and it'd be hard to maybe be a foster parent, but please get involved, whether it's through donation or spreading the word. Get this information out. I know there's a lot of different groups that do fostering, but UMFS has been, they're around here local. There is an office in Lynchburg, you said, right?
Yes, there is a local office.
So there is in Lynchburg, and they're looking for help. There's a lot of kids needing it. So please get more involved, do that, and check out umfsagain.org. And I think, is that it?
Yeah, I mean, I think
Great job.
So. Yeah,
that's a lot of info. It's a lot of good info, though.
Great.
Answers a lot of questions people have. Like, I know several people that are going through this now that have foster kids, and friends of mine, and been through several court cases, and I know it's really stressful on them. But you know, if you have the heart and the love for it, it's worth it. You know, if you do the best for the kid, so no matter whatever happens. So. Well, we're getting off at a good time. Here comes a train. So thank y'all for listening again. And remember to follow us on all your podcast platforms. Thank you, Kate.